welder and pull down your helmet, old son, because you're watching Tulsa Welding School's Top Welder. Season 2, Episode 2 is right around the corner. Welcome back to Tulsa Welding School's Top Welder. This is episode 2 in season 2. Today, we're gonna build a luggage rack. It's gotta fit in the hitch behind the pickup truck. You've got 90 minutes. Everybody ready? Ready, set, weld. Get started. Hustle, hustle. You've only got so many supplies. Hey guys, we're gonna build a luggage rack right here. Team Phoenix, we're going with the tailgate theme, all right? We need a luggage rack, so when we go down to the game, we can fit your mom's luggage in there. I'm gonna be randomly throwing this football at people, so look out for that. Team Jacksonville, making the first cut. Here we go. Team Tulsa, looks like they're gonna be the second ones to make a cut. Let's check on 281. Houston, how's it looking? How creative are you guys gonna get with the luggage rack this time? Are you looking for a little more abstract art? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, it won't be abstract, but it'll be
some sort of
it'll be recognizable.
Recognizable.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we're going for, recognizable.
We'll see how those standards work out for them. Team Jacksonville coming in here like they got something to prove, old son. One thing I don't, because I'm the greatest bull rider of all time. Looks like it's gonna be a little more compact, but they're not done cutting, so we'll see how it turns out. Back to my favorite team. I've said that about all of them. Phoenix. Right now, they have not gotten very far. They are definitely sitting in 4th, but on their bench, they had some angles that were off and some seams that weren't finished out welding, so they might be trying to take the approach of just being a little bit more meticulous with some of those small things. Are y'all just gonna haul a bus, and this is a luggage rack for a bus?
Yeah.
Cause y'all got a big family, the two of you. So you can tailgate together.
Kids.
Yeah. What team would you be going to tailgate with?
Probably OU.
OU? Okay. Yeah. I was gonna go to OU. Team Phoenix, what team would you go watch if you were tailgating?
I'm a 49ers fan.
San Francisco, California, beautiful. Yeah, hopefully he has a good time tailgating because the team's probably gonna lose. Hey, if you were gonna tailgate, who would you go watch? A&M? Yeah. Whoop, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Dog Station, Texas team. This is a building year. Well, more like a building decade.
Had it in the top 10, huh? Yeah. We're gonna split it and then we're gonna put another one here. All right, I'll cut another one.
All right, Ed, we're looking at luggage racks today. Tell me about Team Phoenix. What are you seeing so far?
So their initial layout, you can see they already have the frame size laid out. It looks like a good size. I like to see that they're using the square. Hopefully that their fit up will be good on this part. You can also see they've already cut out the flooring, so it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate and support that flooring.
He mentioned their cutout. They had a little bit of trouble on the last episode, you might remember, with the project being square at the end. Now we're moving to Jacksonville.
I'm not entirely sure what's happening yet. They're working with the smaller size of the square tubing, and they've struck an arc well before any of the other teams appear to be ready to do that. It's possible that these are going to be the ends, maybe, but I would be concerned it might not be wide enough to fit ice chest in this luggage rack if that's the actual size of this finished product. So it'll be interesting to see if they use some larger tubing to actually support the weight for the mainframe. Hopefully they'll take some of our comments about the first luggage rack and This one will be a little more square. They'll get everything lined up properly before they weld it.
Use that one as the first one as a test run.
Absolutely.
Moving on, the school's namesake, Tulsa Welding School. Right off the bat, a really big square tubing.
Like you say, this is definitely the largest size of the square tubing you've seen. I like that they're incorporating the mitered cuts on the end. We saw that in their chairs and bench, and it worked really well there. So it's good to see them incorporating that again. It will be interesting to see how this comes together. It definitely should have the strength, so the key will be the fit up and the appearance.
Let's check out Houston. I don't know if you saw the way they started this with, they cut out 45-degree angles with the angle grinder and then just folded it all the way down. But it came together perfectly.
It did. I actually was hoping that someone would do something like this with this or the square tubing where you can cut out that triangle and you can bend it to get a perfect square. The key is measuring and making your cuts correctly, and from what we can see, this team has started out very well. This will provide a nice square frame, and the angle will actually provide really good support for the expanded metal for the actual floor later on.
All right, Phoenix, here's your curveball. You've got to incorporate that on your luggage rack. Receiver hitch luggage rack. What team are we rooting for? Tulsa Welding School, old son. Blue 42. Set, hut. All right, guys, we've got to incorporate this little license, just one of them, license plate, into your luggage rack. Houston 281. Here's your curveball. It's a license plate, and you've got to put it on your project somewhere. We're 15 minutes in. Obviously, they've already started. They haven't taken into consideration that they're going to have to use this. So now, as instructors, you got to think on your feet, improvise, make it look nice. I got my faith in you, Doug. I'm so interested in how this is going to turn out. Me, as a bull rider, I pack light. I'm on to the next one. I may not even bring luggage. I might just bring this football or my rigging bag. So I don't need a big luggage rack, which I think is what they're going for, which excites me. One critique that the judges had on Team Phoenix in the last episode was that their chair didn't have enough support under it. I feel like that's a mistake. They're not going to make 2 times in a row. I was going to pat Jeff on the back, but then I remembered, like, oh yeah, he's like grizzly bear size, and I better not startle him because he might eat me.
Maybe he's kind of hungry.
2 kinds of people in this world, Jeff. Men with beards and women. No offense, Doug. They're going to be judged on 3 different things. Number 1 is creativity and originality, which these guys have. Number 2, overall presentation. And then number 3, the technical aspects of the structure. Like, are the welds good? Is it square? So 10 points, 10 points, 10 points. In this round, that's how they're going to judge it. I don't know how they did in round 1. I haven't seen score sheets. 60 minutes! 60 minutes! Have you figured out how you're going to incorporate your license plate?
Glue it on there.
Glue it?
Yeah.
Okay. Elmer's.
I'll have to have both of these. That's going to be
This looks like it's going to be super square. They're definitely the most structurally sound, which is 1/3 of the score. What are they going to do with creativity? I don't know. I feel like these guys are going to win creativity because they're making a tiny luggage rack. And they would be my vote for the win because I'm a sucker for sarcasm. I'm bilingual and that's my second language. I think where they're going to win with this is the creativity and the technical part. I think where they may get a little deduction is the overall presentation. Tom, what do you think about Team Phoenix?
I think it's safe to say that Team Phoenix is definitely using their square and some of those utensils a little bit more than they did the first go around.
Here we are at Team Jacksonville luggage rack, which I'm in love with. We got 50 minutes left. They didn't even use half of their time. All they have left to do is put the plate on. Here we are at Team Tulsa, the namesake.
Definitely looks pretty stout, that's for sure. They're definitely modern in all their joints. A little bit more finesse than just, square button and welding it out. I think they definitely took some pointers from the first go around, with expanded metal and having support.
I love it. He's saying that they didn't have enough material to finish this one, so they made it micro, which there were no stipulations on the size of the luggage rack. Maybe if you got like a little toothpaste bag. Back to Team Phoenix. Still working on the foundation. Every good luggage rack has a solid foundation. And, I like to correlate that with life lessons, Hey, you need to have a solid foundation like a good luggage rack. I've said that before. We've still got 44 minutes and 15 seconds left, and Team Jacksonville is done. Even when they're pressed for time, these instructors, they're doing a great job. I think that Team Houston is almost done, followed by Phoenix, lastly Tulsa. However, it's not a timed event. You do have to finish within a certain time, but it's not like you get more points if you're the fastest. It's all about finishing the project and making your luggage rack the best. Fit like a glove. Okay, they just made a few adjustments and now they're like on their way. This might be like the cleanest looking one now. Everybody has stepped their game up for episode 2. They needed a warm up, and maybe the bench was just a quick warm up so they could then get off the bench and in the game. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk to Team Phoenix, but they're like working, helmets down. I'm gonna get some words out of them. Team Phoenix, what are you thinking? How do you feel?
I think we're pressing time, but I think it's really good.
Are you gonna bring some size up on it? Doug, when did you start welding? When's the first time you struck an arc?
1973.
1973.
Yeah. It's been a while.
You want to flip it over? Flip it over and get it all back together. That way at least we have to finish the bottom.
You got about 30 minutes left. Woo! Yes. 30. My voice cracked earlier, so I got to say it deep. 30 minutes. 30 minutes, everybody. I mean, really, technically, that's all you need at a tailgate. I'm trying to think like a judge here, and I think they might get rocks thrown at them for putting those braces on the outside. But they also needed to make a platform for the expanded metal to go on, so I understand that. What made you go with angle iron on the ends rather than continuous square tubing?
The idea is here we're going to get us some holes in here where you can put some like D-rings or something so you can strap.
Okay, Team Phoenix, worries, concerns?
This looks pretty cool. Hopefully they can get it done in 23 minutes. It looks like they got their work cut out for them. I kind of feel like I'm seeing after the first round and doing the judging that now they kind of have a better feel of what we're going to be grading them on. So I've noticed that all the teams seem to be putting a little more attention to detail.
Let's move on to Team Jacksonville. They've been done. We've come around a few times. Super creative.
Yep. I mean, doing the best you can with what you got right there.
Are you guys nervous at all about getting done?
Yes.
It's very time consuming to cut expanded metal, isn't it? Oh yeah. Especially when you got 15 minutes and a long-haired cowboy distracting you. At first when I came over here, I thought your welding cap was pantyhose.
Pantyhose?
Yeah.
Why? Did it fit so tight?
Yeah.
It looks so good.
We're in the fourth quarter. I personally would have opted out of the expanded metal on the sides. But I'm just a guy that uses luggage. I'm more and more crazy about this design. It's kind of like getting bucked off if they don't finish this, you know what I mean? Like you gotta ride the bull 8 seconds. You gotta finish the project in 90 minutes. I've never been bucked off, but I can imagine it's probably not fun. Are you making some last minute additions?
Came off, so yeah.
You're gonna make it. You got it, guys. I believe in you. 5 minutes! 5 minutes! They are so calm and collected. They might get the sides on. I think they will. I really like Jacksonville, but now I'm a fan of Houston. Doug is a savage. Two minutes, guys. They're not gonna make it. Is it gonna hold luggage? Yeah, maybe. Unless you're gonna turn. at any point when you're driving the car. If you want to turn left or right, don't use this luggage rack. 30 seconds! They're still making cuts over here. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's the winner. I mean, it's obvious. Doug never even broke a sweat. Time is up for round 2. What we were making was a luggage rack because we're headed to the tailgate, old son. Team Houston has home field advantage, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their luggage rack.
We built it big enough to put your coolers in and stuff, and just kind of focused on being pretty rigid, pretty, corners rounded where we don't hang up or cut ourselves, and have something rigid enough here and holes, in here to where we can put a ratchet strap.
There's only so much you can do with the luggage rack, but you guys found a way of putting a little creativity in it, and I think it looks real sharp.
I like the idea of the square tubing on top and rounding the corners. I think that's something we definitely noticed from a previous competition.
It's well designed. I think it's a good size. I would have liked to see the corners welded out on the underside, but I really liked the way you scored and bent it instead of welding individual pieces.
Great job, Houston. This will definitely fit my rig and bag, and time to move on to the next project. Next up, we've got Zoe and Levi on the Tulsa team. Tell us about your luggage rack, guys.
Well, we had to make some modifications intermittently. We kind of ran out of time on coming towards the end of it, but we like it. I think we did all right, but there's always room for improvement.
Just needed a little more time.
It's a little bit more time.
Said every losing football team. You ought to just given us a little bit more time. I'm not saying you've lost.
I like it. I think it's definitely sturdy. It's not going anywhere, but I think you definitely went outside the box for sure.
I really liked the way it started out. You were mitering your corners again. That was really good. I noticed your fit up was a lot bigger on this. I also really appreciated the way you tied your receiver tube into the cross piece. That was well done.
Great job, Tulsa. Round 2. We're going to check out the next luggage rack and see where you guys stand. Team Phoenix brings in their luggage rack. I'm going to let you guys explain. Tell us about your luggage rack.
So basically, we ran out of time on that last piece of backing strip over there. Overall, the only thing I think we're lacking is this little piece of strap at the end here.
I really appreciated, you took our comments about the squareness, like the way this was fit up and welded. That was well done. Again, running into the time, but maybe incorporate a piece of angle across these edges, which would both cover the squares, and it would give you something to hook on like you were talking about.
I like the front license plate holder. That was a good idea.
Yeah, that was Elliot's idea. I came up with that really, really quick. So, the hard part about that was to get it all square. And
It's hard to know when was it worth it to put the time into doing that, and then you didn't get the last side on. It's hard to know.
Overall, it's going to carry your luggage back to Arizona so long as you don't turn left. Looks like we've got one last project to look at, and we'll see how it all pans out for you. Pack light, because we're headed down to Jacksonville. We're going to look at their luggage rack that is interesting. Tell us about it, guys.
Well, we went with a smaller model just for the simple fact we misunderstood the rules for the first project and used a large portion of our material. We didn't want to continue on because we still want to come back and be heavy hitters in the later rounds with the same amount of material. So we figured we'll kind of, not make fun of it, but we'll do what you asked and make a luggage rack. It's just going to be extremely small, lower scale, so that we can move on and, hopefully get the win in the end.
If you're tailgating, what more do you need than a football?
Yeah, there weren't any rules about how big it had to be, right?
Everything's welded out.
100%.
It's good. Square, everything.
I noticed that, and we appreciate that from, those were some of our comments on the first round. Some of the things were out square. This one improved in that area. You welded things out, got things squared up before you welded them. Given how early you finished, it might have been interesting to see if you could have either done some mitered corners or covered up the open ends, but at the same time, you welded it up well, and it's square, so.
Well, we used drop from the previous one, so not miter made it to where we could use that without tapping into another full stick.
We're going to go and see what the judges think about all 4 of them. On to the next one, old son.